Hi guys, it's Tim and Kathy with Taste Life with Us, and we're here to do our last 2-month budget summary review with you. This is month 11 and 12, and after this, we're just going to be giving you a lot shorter recaps of what we've been doing.
Cheers to that.
I'm still drinking tea.
Because he doesn't even know the budget numbers yet. He's going to get them at the same time you do.
So let's talk a little bit about where we were at. So the first place we were at was Siem Reap, Cambodia.
This was a bucket list for us to go see Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat is like a huge complex of really ancient temples that are just, you know, some of the most amazing, culturally significant old structures in the world. And it's really exciting and interesting because at sometimes they were Buddhist and at sometimes they were Hindu. So it's kind of like combined all over these structures and yeah, it was fascinating. Completely fascinating experience. And beautiful. One of them was from Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And it still
it actually wasn't from Tomb Raiders, it was in Tomb Raiders.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And so the trees growing up around it, and I mean, really spectacular, really spectacular.
Yeah, and that was fantastic. And we were there from June 1st to June 10th. So we were there for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, and we went to the Angkor Museum first to learn all about it and see some of the biggest prizes from them that they're protecting there at the museum.
And then we also went and saw a circus there.
Which was really fun. It wasn't anything like a circus like what you're imagining. It was
more of an acrobatic show.
Yeah, with like a plot to it.
Yeah.
Like almost like a play that was acrobatic. It was really interesting and fun.
It was really a neat place. So while we were there, we stayed at the Grand Yard La Residence.
Yes,
Knew it?
We sure did. For $35 a night, which is not bad.
Not bad at all.
Cambodia is interesting. They use the dollar and the real, and I do think it drives their prices up a little bit because of the strength of the dollar. But we had some good food, good Western food, good local food.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic driver there. Shout out to Sarong Sarong.
Sarong Sarong gave us a true experience of local food, local culture, and getting us everywhere, setting us up with different tour guides. It was really a neat experience meeting him.
It was, and we tasted some fantastic local food with him.
Yeah.
Really fun. I'll put his information down in the description if you're headed to Siem Reap and you need a driver.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yes.
So from there, we hopped on a plane and we went to Koh Samui.
We sure did.
That's Thailand,
I'll just
right?
say too, so this period of time when we're here is the rainy season coming in, and we felt like we were running from it the whole time.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
It started raining at the end of Siem Reap, but we got out. We got to Koh Samui. It was beautiful. I think it rained a little the last
couple
day
of
or
days,
two there, but we were tired. I mean, Siem Reap was a lot of hiking, so when we went to Koh Samui, we pretty much were slugs for a week.
We did a little bit of walking around, but I'm not going to lie,
It
not
was
much.
mostly from beach bar to beach bar. They had a really nice night market, good prices at the night market, but they also had a lot of amazing beach restaurants with Italian food and, you know, all those things that you want while you're watching the sunset. And of course you need a bottle of wine and Coco Tams.
Oh yes. So fire dance shows.
Oh wow.
We went and saw it like 2 or 3 times. It was amazing.
Unbelievable. I mean, we saw a different fire dance show on a beach in Cambodia. It was just nothing compared to what Coco Tams has.
Yeah,
I mean, Coco Tams was shockingly phenomenal. Like, you can't imagine how these guys were not getting burnt with all these sparks flying around their bare feet.
We're fast traveling still, so you can see we're a week. So we were a week in Koh Samui, and then we were a week in Koh Tao.
Yeah, we were 8 days in Koh Tao.
Yeah, well, hold it. Let's back up to Koh Samui really quick. We stayed at the Smile House, just so you know. And the Smile House was a really nice place. It really was good. It was kind of right down in the Fisherman's Village area.
Right in the middle of everything.
Yeah, and so that was nice. And it was what? It was $57 a night.
Yeah, so it was a little more, but it was really worth it. It was great.
Yeah.
And they had a very nice breakfast.
And it was included.
Right on the beach,
Yeah.
included.
So that was nice. So once we got to Koh Tao, we were staying at the AIYA Resort.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't know.
wouldn't really call it a resort. It's a hotel with a pool.
It was.
It was a loud hotel. Like
Yeah.
there was people there on bachelor parties or girls' weekends away, and even clear down to the beach, like a 10-minute walk, you could hear the oh my gosh.
Yeah, the beach music. It was. Koh Tao is very much a fun, lively place.
Oh yeah. If you're young,
Awesome.
perfect. We felt old. That's the first place we've gone
We
that it
actually
wasn't
felt
until
old.
the last couple days that we saw anyone in our demographic. Anyone. Everybody was under the age of 30. Most of them were backpackers. They were all partiers.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, so obviously not our total swing at life, but we had fun with it.
Yeah, we tried.
yeah,
we
no.
took a cooking class. That was really
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, we-
It was actually right across the street from our hotel.
Yeah, that was a great cooking class. Just a great experience. We also did take a excursion out for snorkeling.
Yes, that was really fun. Nice group of people. It was with a big snorkel tour place though, so it was okay. We like to snorkel by ourselves, wasn't that?
Yeah, and it just wasn't a good place to snorkel by yourself there. So,
Yeah.
you get the tour and they take you to multiple places, and it was good.
And we had a good time and the snorkeling was good, but we literally had gone to Thailand for these 2 weeks to snorkel before the rainy season hit, because when the rainy season hits, you get jellyfish. And oh boy, on Koh Tao, thank
The rain
God,
caught up with us.
thank God we went to the excursion first.
Yeah, I think we did that the
And-
first or second day.
I mean, honestly, the rain may have colored our view of Koh Tao because it was rainy for most of the time. It would rain. You go out on the beach. How many jellyfish? Thousands
Thousands of jellyfish just up on the sand.
of just dehydrated jellyfish all over the sand. So you're looking at that going, yeah, not getting in that water. And we only saw one jellyfish when
The
we
day
were
we
out there
snorkeled,
snorkeling.
So one of the things we learned about the jellyfish around here is they do like the fresh water. So after it rains really hard, the jellyfish kind of come up more inland because they're looking for that fresher water.
Yeah, so we were out running jellyfish and rain at the same time. And we probably should have gone snorkeling in Koh Samui too, but we thought it was going to end up being kind of the same, and I don't think it would have been. So
Yeah.
next time.
So after Koh Tao, we went back to Koh Samui, but we were only there at night, right? 2
Yeah,
nights?
we just went in because it's this whole ferry thing. We're going to put up a travel day. It literally was 3 days of travel to get from Koh Tao to Sarong Sarong, which is a little island off the south coast of Cambodia.
So that's what we're
if
trying
you
to
look
get
on
to.
a map, they're like right across this giant whatever bay thing from each other, but you can't go that way. You gotta,
Go around.
So it took us 3 days because of all the timing and the ferries.
Yep.
And so we just stayed one night at a hotel right by the airport to make things easier.
Yeah, so in Koh Samui, that
Actually, it
second
was a
place.
really nice place. Like
Yeah.
it was a whole apartment.
Yeah, no, it was a really nice place. It had a microwave, refrigerator, had a little cooktop in it too, didn't it?
Yeah, it had everything.
It had everything you needed,
But it wasn't
dishwasher.
really like right by the beach, so I don't know that we would stay there if we went back.
No, but if you were staying there kind of more long term, it'd be good. And the name of that place is Diamond Pool Villa, and it was $37 a night.
Yes. So then we were on to, we flew back through Bangkok and through Siem Reap to get to Sihanoukville.
Chinook?
We'll put it up there and you can decide how it's pronounced. We heard it a multitude of ways.
Yeah, we know
So,
we're great at it.
I think it's Sihanoukville or Sihanoukville, one of those.
Siemnookville?
No, S-I-H. Okay, we'll put it up there.
Anyway, we stayed at the aristocrat residence,
Yes, because we were taking the ferry the next day.
and so that was a one-nighter again, and it was for $42 a night. And Chinookville, it's just it's a town, it's a city.
a kind of weird situation because I guess it's like a big gambling town. It's sort of like the Vegas of Cambodia. And I guess the Chinese came in and invested a bunch of money in a whole bunch of casinos, but then the Cambodian law changed somehow, and so then they pulled out. And so there's lots of like half-built high rises, and there and also COVID hit at the same time. There's beautiful freeways, and then really pretty areas, and then there's areas that look like they got bombed or something.
Yeah, it's quite the
It's really
quite the
an
interesting place.
experience. But they had a grocery store there. Oh my gosh, it was. I guess it would be the Cambodia version of like a Walmart.
Yeah, well, a giant super Walmart. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it had everything from shoes and clothing to raw fish. Fish
Yeah,
market.
and
Yeah.
kids toys. And I mean, we did pick up a few bottles of wine
Took them with us.
take on the ferry out to Sarong Sarong, and that was a treat. A whole month on this kind of, I mean, in some ways it felt like a deserted island. Obviously there's hotels and resorts, but they're very spread out, and there's no like real roads or the transportation. They pick you up from the ferry with this little like tractor engine pulling a flat cart, and you just hop up there and they drive you on the sand to your resort.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just crazy. And one day we walked over to the other side,
Yep.
and that was kind of fun.
Yeah, because the beach was completely different. Now, we stayed at the Sarah Resort.
Resort in Saracen Bay, which is probably the most, and there's nothing very touristy there, but if you're going to call it touristy, I guess that
It was the resort that had the big swimming pool that wasn't all that big.
It
was
literally
really nice.
only is tourist resorts and hotels all the way up the beach. There's just not very many.
Well, there's only 500 people or residents of the whole island. The island's 6 miles by 1 mile.
I was snorkeling on a big excursion one day, which that was super fun. We went
We did several things.
snorkeling, fishing with basically like a little rod. I mean, it's just like a little spool of fishing line, and you're just like fishing with it.
She was all excited. She caught a whopper.
I was the only one that caught a fish. Oh, my whopper. Not the only one on the boat, but Tim didn't catch
I
fish, is
didn't
what
catch
I know.
that. So there we go. There's that.
But we also went to that other town.
My pie.
Yeah,
My pie.
Mapai. It's
Yes.
like M''Pai. And that's really the most town type.
Yeah, it's the
only real
fishing
town
village.
type place. It's a fishing village, a working fishing village. There are a lot of like hostels for backpackers and stuff there, but it's pretty a local.
Yeah, it's
area.
very local area.
We walked through there. We made a really good friend.
Yes.
And that was really fun.
Yeah, Louisa.
Yes. Shout out to Louisa.
Also, we swam in the bioluminescence.
Right, on the way back. And this is the reason we went to this island, to see bioluminescence.
And it was really cool when you're in the water swimming with it in the pitch black.
Oh, yeah. It's totally dark. They turn off the boat lights. You get in the water, which is not scary, even though it sounds like it would be. And when you move around, it's like little fairy twinkles everywhere, like coming off your hands. And they're just all over. But it doesn't, you can't feel them. It's not like they're bugs or anything.
No, and you can't film it because it's just pitch black.
We tried so many ways to film it because it was beautiful.
Yeah, couldn't do it. It's kind of weird. It almost looks like, even though you couldn't film it, if you moved your hand really fast in the water, it looked like static all around your hand.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like white, golden white, kind of. So this is the interesting thing. When we were like researching this, you see all these pictures of this like glowing blue on the
waves,
on the
and
beaches,
waters,
like the
yes.
waves coming into the beaches. So we didn't see that. You know, we were there during the dark moon and all of that. So we asked the guy out in the boat, and we said, "Where is that?" And he said, "That's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning in really, really dark areas." So then when we went to the other side of the island, which has to be the darkest area ever because there's one resort on the whole beach. So we're talking to the lady there, and we ask her, "Oh, do you get that over here? Because, you know, it's really dark and everything." And she says, "No." And I said, "Oh, well, do you know where it is? Because I saw these pictures online." She goes, "Don't believe everything you see on the internet."
So there you go.
So if you're looking for that,
It may or may not be there.
I just don't know what to tell you. But we are doing a whole video on Sarong Sarong because when we were posting pictures on social media, so many of you were just, we've never had so many responses
Which was really
to
awesome.
social media posts, which was amazing. People, "Where are you? Where are you staying? How much is it? That place is amazing. It's gorgeous." And it 100% was.
Yeah.
Amazing, gorgeous. We had a month discount, so it was very reasonable. What did we pay?
We paid $36 a night
Which included the most incredible breakfast we've had at any hotel
with a
ever.
huge selection. on it.
Huge selection, like homemade bread to make French toast, homemade bread used in their eggs Benedict. I mean, just everything. They had Western food and Asian
Cambodian.
food, Cambodian food. And they had a great dinner. That's the best steak we've had anywhere.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you'll see that reflected in the budget. We did like the steak. We hadn't had it in a long time.
It was lovely, simply lovely.
Anyways, it was magical, and there was no reason to leave the resort. So
No.
like all the restaurants, local or not, had the same price food up and down. It was like
It was kind of like a
monopoly
yeah.
or something. And it wasn't terribly expensive. It just wasn't cheap. Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, we just set up camp in a little cabana. And so when the rain started, because, you know, we couldn't outrun it forever, it rained. I mean,
Buckets.
poured. And we're in our little cabana all fine, as long as it's not too windy. We're just in there laying on the couch, doing our stuff on our computer, playing cards, you know, whatever. So it was a really fun month. I kind of had an emotional breakdown, so we didn't get a bunch of work done like we planned. If you want to read about that, it's in my blog. I'll put a link in the description. We were there for a total of 26 days. 3 are in the June budget. 23 nights are in the July budget. And we actually wrote all these for you this time. Okay. Then we came to Kuala Lumpur, which is where we are right now.
Big city. This city is actually larger than New York City in the United States, to give you a reference, by about 1 million people.
Yeah, it has blown us away. But I've never seen anything like this.
No.
I mean, they are a mall culture. Shopping malls.
Much so.
There's like 10 gigantic shopping malls. The first day we got here, we went to go get groceries, and the grocery stores are in the basements of malls, shopping malls. So we go into it to get it, and we're like, what in the world? This huge mall. It has an amusement park in it,
It's
a hotel.
the 9th largest mall in the world.
Yeah, that's where the grocery store was. Kind of local grocery store, so interesting experience. The mall for the fancy grocery store. Gee whiz. It's something, you guys. You just have to see these malls. There's literally the food courts have entire restaurants in them. Like they had a
Tony Roma's.
Tony Roma's in the food court, a big sit-down Tony Roma's. We had teppanyaki
Yeah.
in the food court, and
Yeah.
there was like
That was a
5
different
teppanyaki
experience.
tables.
Yeah, that was a different experience just
Yeah, it was-
altogether.
Yeah.
We are staying at the Tribeca building.
Yes, it's Grace's Airbnb.
Yes. Airbnb. And it is fabulous. We're on the 18th floor overlooking the city.
And it's right across the street from the Ritz-Carlton.
Right.
And we are only paying $38 a day.
Yes.
But in fact, we had a credit on Airbnb
Even
from
better.
something that got canceled before we became nomads. So it's free.
Absolutely.
It's free for us. And we're really glad because
Our budget needed it.
not only did our budget need it, but we've been able to go some nice places for dinner while we're here. But all that's in
So much
August.
for the budget.
So
We just pushed it right out the door again.
if you want to see that stuff, you got to hop over to Daily Taste because we're not going to be doing these videos in August. So anyway,
It's
a great place.
$38
This is a
night.
luxury town in
Oh,
so many
yes.
aspects, but yet it also has these little local places. Like one of our favorite dinners
Mm.
costs $2.50 for the two of us.
Yeah. So one of the main reasons why we're here is for the medical care.
It wasn't that we needed medical care. It was that we knew that traveling for a whole year, we might end up with like sore knees or injuries or illnesses that cropped up that we didn't know about. So we planned this in. Kuala Lumpur is a major medical tourism destination
Yes.
for people all over the world. So they have fantastic medical care, a good reputation, reasonable prices. So what did we do?
We got a full workup.
Like we've never had in our life. We didn't even know you could have this.
Basically, you schedule this all. You go there in the morning or whenever your appointment time is. Ours was at like 9 in the morning. And, oh, Lordy. I got my eyes checked, my ears checked, I got my belly checked, I got ultrasound, I had a stress test, I had labs done.
Got all the female stuff done.
What else did I get done?
You know what? There was so much.
Bone density scan was done. Chest
Yeah.
x-ray was done.
Yeah, we did a stress test on our heart.
Man.
We did everything, and it was just a matter of hours.
Yeah, we were out of there
barely
by 2
longer
o'clock.
than you've waited in the doctor's office and seen a doctor for something else.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal
Yeah.
how efficient and thorough the whole thing was. And the whole thing for the two of us was about $800.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did get like some medications. Tim was able to get his correct
Yay!
brain meds finally. Got a couple little follow-up things, but not much. Found out I was very deficient in zinc. No one's ever tested me for that, even though I've had the same symptoms for a long time. So good to know.
Yep. Yeah, it was really kind of interesting to see how their system worked. All of the labs, all of the reports were back in the doctor's hands by the time we had our follow-up visit with him that day.
At like 2.
At 2 o'clock.
And they even gave you lunch in their very nice cafeteria. It was not like cafeteria food.
No.
And the doctor just, he did the whole intake himself. In the morning, went over your history. And then in the afternoon, he spent another probably hour with us going over all the results. Oh, we met with a dietitian.
Yep, we also met with a dietitian.
It was phenomenal. We actually have a daily taste day on our medical stuff and on the second day. So if you want more information, you can go see it. But
yeah, that was just a fabulous thing to have happen. I really was impressed.
I was really impressed too. If you need medical care and you're a nomad, this is a great place to come. In fact, honestly, now that we're in our 3rd week here, we're kind of wishing we would have stayed the whole 3 months that you can on a visa, because it's a very comfortable place to stay. Not only our Airbnb, but just Kuala Lumpur. You know, it feels very safe and comfortable and kind of lots of Western influence around you, and you just feel very at home here.
It's very easy to communicate. English is actually taught in their primary and secondary schools.
Oh yeah, everyone speaks great English.
Not everyone.
Pretty great English.
Yeah.
The only thing I ever feel uncomfortable here is our nomad attire does not really fit in with these
The bougie
very
lifestyle.
high-end bougie malls, and you're walking around like, well, I have on my dry fit, and I'm walking through Balenciaga. Gonna go check out some Louboutin shoes in my. But we did buy new sneakers each, so we did have a bit of a clothing budget here.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I did. I got this at the Butterfly Garden. It's very like a local made thing, but. We each got a really good pair of sneakers because we had worn ours out trekking the world.
Yep.
And we also got a nicer shirt from you.
Yes. Yes.
And I bought a pillow for this Airbnb. We like it. It's not completely perfect, but, you know, it's a great place to stay.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a great deal. And, you know, I mean, the Ritz would be nice across the street, but you don't have a kitchen and it costs like 5 times as much. So
Not going to happen.
Just
The closest we get to the Ritz is a cracker. Just saying.
that's a fact.
Well, I think it's time.
You sure you don't want a glass of wine for this?
All right, it is that time. The dreaded numbers sheet pops up. Isn't it beautiful?
Okay, so I thought we did pretty well on accommodations in
Yeah, because we're
June.
staying here for free.
Okay, so I'll explain that because we were only here for 3 days of it, I
that's
think,
good.
3 or 4 days. So our accommodations in June came to $11.84, even though we're at the Koh Samui one was a little on the expensive side for Asia, you know. Keep in mind that these were all hotels until we got here just these last few days.
Correct.
All hotels, so we had to eat all of our meals out. Breakfast was included at some of them, but not all of them. And on the list, you can see which ones it was included on. Obviously, it's not included here at the Airbnb.
All right, so accommodations, 1,184,
In June,
and July, 828.
I think we did pretty good on that. That was
Yeah.
a total of $2,012.
Yes.
Groceries, of course, we were mostly at a hotel, so we did not buy a ton of groceries. When we were in Siem Reap, we did buy like cereal and milk because we had a refrigerator,
Yeah.
and we would eat breakfast in our room, you know, just our own little cereal and milk. So $28 in June, $206 in July. Most
Okay.
of that was because we got here and bought a big grocery haul the first day we were here.
Yep.
That's all in there, and it obviously lasted longer than 3 days.
So, and that is a total of $234 for those 2 months for groceries. Restaurants, again, hotel staying, we're eating out. So the month of June, $684. The month of July, $806.
So that comes to $14.90. If you're looking at this as to how much it would cost you, you could easily have spent less. You know,
Well,
like
we
we
could
always
spend
say,
a lot more if we had it.
we're not exactly budget travelers. We're on a budget, but we're not like scrimping. You know, we're happy to use our budget. So we went to some nice restaurants, but we also went to local restaurants. We kind of balanced it out. And if you were really trying to save, you could go to mostly local restaurants. It's just some places, like honestly on Koh Rong Samong, you couldn't really save money on that
No.
because there just wasn't local
No,
restaurants. But you could get a meal for $5.
You could manage that.
Yeah.
So
each person.
now let's talk about my favorite subject, the drinks. If you remember back to our last video, we talked about austerity measures that were going to be snipping my drink budget.
And they worked a little bit. It was $3.39 in June when I cut Tim off after the first week and a half or so there. He wasn't cut off completely. We did go to Coco Tam's quite a few times, but cutting down. So we did go austerity, and then we have blown it a little bit more in July.
So when you are on an island and there's not a lot else to do but lie in a swimming pool with a pool bar, that is just too cruel.
Yeah, Tim was having a tough time with that. So there was an
$765
bar bill when we left. So if you do not drink, right there, you could have saved over $1,000. And in those restaurant costs are also some drinks. Because if we get drinks with dinner, we usually just leave them in there. We don't break everything out. So honestly, you could probably save, $1,200 to $1,500 a month if you were careful and you ate a little cheaper and you didn't drink at all.
Just saying.
Trying to make this real for you.
Wine tasting. We didn't do any wine tasting. You should be proud of us.
I don't think there really is any in these areas, but
just let them be proud of us.
Yes. We took terrible self-control to not go wine tasting in Thailand and Cambodia. You should be so proud.
Okay, transportation costs. Now,
this was high.
We got nailed with some flights and other things that were just expensive for transportation.
I mean, like we said, it took 3 days. It was multiple ferry rides, multiple flights. It was not easy to get to this little island, and we paid for it. Afterwards, we learned we could have flown straight from Koh Samui to Kuala Lumpur, and Kuala Lumpur back to Sihanoukville, and it would have been cheaper, faster, and easier. Sometimes you don't notice those things because you're like, seems like you should fly to the country you're going to, not a third country. And watch my travel planning stuff, because clearly I know absolutely everything.
So our beautiful month of June ended up being $1,388 for transportation. And July was much better at $300 for transportation, for a grand total of $1,688 for 2 months of transportation.
We also did use a private driver a lot in Siem Reap.
We did.
Quite a lot, because you cannot just walk around between these places. These activities, a lot of that was the pass to Angkor Wat, because we bought the 7-day pass that's good for a month, 7 days out of a month. And it was totally worth it. We went to the museum there. We went to the circus there. We went to a snorkeling, 2 big snorkel type excursions. So activities were high for us for these 2 months, $326 total, but well worth it. I mean, we were kind of touristing a bunch of this time, and that's what drove up the price.
And that's fast travel. Fast travel, you're trying to tourist, you're trying to see what you can see and move on.
And that leads to your breakdown at the end of it when you start to rest. Okay, so
let's go to phone.
We didn't have phone.
Exactly.
If you remember back from the last time's budget, we both bought 6-month Asia SIM cards for the whole region. So we had a big hit on phones in the last budget video, and this one we have 0 because we took the hit last time.
Yep.
And honestly, we haven't even used it nearly as much. We probably could have got a cheaper one because we've got great Wi-Fi here.
Yeah.
And Sarong Sarong did not have any kind of data reception and sketchy Wi-Fi. So it's a great place to go get away from it all.
You want to unplug, you're unplugged.
Yeah, and it's nice.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, insurance-wise.
$231 a month for our safety wing is what we have right now.
Okay.
Clothing,
we spent $22 in the month of June on clothing and $183 in the month of July on clothing for a grand total of $205.
Yeah, that was for a hat, 2 pairs of sneakers, and a shirt.
Yeah. Miscellaneous.
$72 of that was the visas and tourist tax for one of the countries. No, it must have been for Cambodia. That's where we needed it.
Yeah.
We did laundry service most of this time.
Right.
So that was at least $30 of laundry. That's the only way you could have got your laundry done in Sarong Sarong. There's a little place down the beach. This guy does it.
Mr. Smile.
Which is super nice. But in hotels, you have to pay to get your laundry done. There's just Yeah.
You don't have an option.
Maybe there's laundromats somewhere, but not on tiny islands. Tech, I had to buy an Apple Pencil. Can you believe I got an Apple Pencil for $25?
At a street market.
In Koh Samui at the street market,
That was
and
a
it
little
works
scary.
perfect. Most of that was mostly like over-the-counter meds for, heartburn, that kind of thing, and
I got a haircut.
lotion, and like all the stuff you buy from a pharmacy.
So we did $10 in the spa
Oh,
in June.
that was at the airport.
Oh, yes.
Our travel day was
Our
so
3-day travel day.
stressful,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we were sitting in the lounge waiting for the thing, and there was these masseuses walking around in the lounge, and Tim's like, please go help my wife.
I
And they
couldn't
were
take it
free,
anymore.
but she was fantastic. She helped me so much, so I tipped her $10.
Yeah.
So-
So let's talk about the 2-month totals for June and July. So $7,949 in cash for 2 months, so an average of $3,974 per month.
We
Under-
came in $26 a month average under budget.
We were supposed
We
to be
could have
saving
gone out
money.
one more time for lunch.
Saving money.
I know. So that doesn't count the $304 that we got free of Airbnb. If you were doing it, I guess maybe you would have had to pay for the Airbnb. So in that case, it would have been $8,253, would have put us $126 over the $4,000 a month budget. Now, that's not for our budget, but I'm just giving you that in case you needed it. We had it free.
Yep.
If you do not drink, though, like I said, I really think you could have done this like $3,400, even paying for the Airbnb. So that's pretty good. Honestly, you could have done it way cheaper. There's cheaper places to stay in these areas, but why?
Because you're on a budget.
We stayed under budget.
True, we did.
I'm just going to say, though, I am a little terrified about Europe.
Yeah.
I am. I mean, we're going to go to cheap places in Europe, but even the cheap places in Europe are not that cheap, and yeah, nothing's prepaid. I don't have a ton of free stuff left.
Okay, let's not make my heart pitter patter. Let's get back to what we're talking about. All right, so averaging our whole first 12 months just for our cash outlay, what we paid out in cash, not the pre stuff, not any
Nothing
of
that was prepaid before we left. Y'all
Right.
know we did a lot of that for the first few months.
that.
Well, we went to expensive areas we couldn't afford. That's why we did it. That's exactly why we did it.
So,
and why you should do it too.
For that, our cash pension, my cash pension,
Plus our savings.
plus our savings, we basically averaged out to $3,332 a month of cash being shelled out.
Okay, so for us, with all the things we got free because of our points, with the things we prepaid before we left, with our credit for Airbnb, we actually came in way under budget. And that's why I'm not that stressed. That's almost $700 a month under budget. And what's great about that is that really that's less than $2,000 a month out of our savings
Right,
because your pension's in there. So
right. So that's awesome. Now,
yeah, so that's great. So it kind of just depends on your own situation. Everybody is different.
now let's play devil's advocate for a minute. If we add in all of the prepaid stuff,
Have a drink, baby. Have a drink.
and we add in all of the freebie stuff, our annual output was $75,000. The average then was $6,259. I rounded to 75,000.
So if you want to really go all out the way we did, and you saw us take a really nice cruise with the whole Princess Plus package, and then
I did
take a
love a
really
drink
nice
package.
Norwegian cruise with the whole Plus package, and all of these things, and do all the wine tasting we did in Australia, New Zealand, and all the touristing and all the touristing we've done
Memories.
here, and the nice restaurants. Yeah, if you want to live exactly like we lived, and you had no points, no prepaid, nothing, that's what it would have cost you.
$75,114.
Now, just saying, we were living it up. You could have lived
So much cheaper.
for half that. You really could have lived for half that if you were careful. And I'm not talking hostels. I'm just talking don't drink a bunch, don't go wine tasting, don't go on fancy cruises, or if you do, at least don't get the drink package and the Wi-Fi package and all that. And we're going to test this out. We've got a lot of cruises coming up. In fact, if you go over, we'll put a link at the end. If you go over to our cruise channel, we've got so much cruising coming up, and this will be the true test. And we will tell you how much we spent on the cruises.
Yeah.
because that's an easy one. You know, it's just one charge. It's not that hard to keep track of. So this stuff, a little harder to keep track of, but I highly recommend Travel Spend. It has served us well.
I'm just going to say, you brought tears to my eyes when you said no drink package.
You know, if you guys want me to do a video on how to use Travel Spend for tracking, but also for budgeting, because we're starting to use it more and more for budgeting, like it actually tells us by the day. So like this is our entire trip, our entire Southeast Asia trip. It tells you how much your daily average is currently over budget. We're only like $11, is that right? No, $8.68 a day over budget if you average out the entire time we've been in Southeast Asia. So that's really nothing, but it just averages it up to the day you're in. No, this is what's really helpful, the day you're in. So it doesn't know that we have a whole month free here.
Right.
It's just telling us right now. So the reason I was panicking in Siem Reap on the last video was because that was like $40 a day over budget or something. Or maybe it was 28 or something.
It was ugly.
It was a lot. It was way too much.
$43 actually.
And that's why I was like, stop drinking, stop spending money. We're holed up in here eating cereal. So you can use it for budgeting
nice
because it does help you like be hyper aware of what you're spending every day and trying to get that number down, which we have been trying to get that number down, and it's down.
Yep.
So, and it'll keep going down. So when we average out the entire Southeast Asia section, it should be more than like $8 a day over budget.
So the best part about this video is the ending of it, because it's the last time we do these 2 month summaries.
Woohoo, woohoo, woohoo.
Which are hard on our hearts because we bear the truth to you, and
Yeah, we promised you the truth.
it's kind
The
of
cold,
a shocker.
hard, ugly truth. And we are fine with it all, but pretty much fine with it all. But, you know, you watch a lot of Nomad videos and they don't give you every single cost. A lot of them do not.
We gave you everything.
And we've given you every penny that we've spent. And that includes a lot of things you don't need, but at least you know what it includes exactly. So you can decide for yourself what you would not have spent money on. And you can also see things that come up that you do spend money on that you weren't expecting.
Yep.
So we're trying to be honest with you guys, give you a realistic view. And this is the end of the realism. No, we'll still be real. In fact, we're so real on Daily Taste. We're in our pajamas, no makeup. It's a pitiful thing. But
from here on out, when we do talk about money, we're going to give you kind of the basics, which is, you know, what's the restaurant cost? What's the accommodations cost?
Yeah,
But we're
approximately. We're not adding them all up. We're just telling you per night, per meal. Like a meal. Here's a meal. This is what it looks like. This is what it costs. So
we're not going to get too in depth, but I appreciate all of you that have commented and put up with our little diatribes of life. And
and for all those that have advised him to stop drinking and save some money. No,
I'm not going to say thank you.
It's both of us.
We just want to say thank you for tasting this world with us over this past year.
And we hope you will taste it for yourself and that it will be cheaper.